The President of the United States cannot dismantle a federal agency by executive order alone. So when it says that it might come before Democrats, he's correct. It has to go to Congress to pass a law to officially close it down. Now, secondly, unlike the British Department of Education, it doesn't actually set the curriculum for schools. So joining us now with her thoughts is Ovidia Molina, president of the Texas State Teachers Association. Ovidia, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Alexis.
Your thoughts on President Trump's signing of that executive order to dismantle the Department of Education?
Well, we are definitely against it. We know that the Department of Education allows for many resources to our students and our states. We have many states who don't currently fund our schools the way they are supposed to per our state constitutions. And so we have to look to our federal government and the Department of Education to ensure that there is more funding for students that need more resources in our schools.
Why do you think President Trump has taken this decision? Why has the Department of Education been so unpopular?
There has been a push for the privatization of our public schools. We are feeling it a lot here in Texas right now, but it is happening throughout the country. And so as educators, we see our students as the future of whatever state we live in. So for me, they are the future of Texas, and I want them to have all of the resources and all of the opportunities. But other people see our children as dollar signs, and they want to make money off of them. They don't care about their education. They care about their pocketbooks. And we have been very vocal about working and fighting to ensure that that doesn't happen, that all of our students get the best education possible. And so that is why public education is under attack in our country.
Is there an element as well, Ovidia, that the Department of Education has come under a lot of scrutiny and a lot of criticism from various areas of the American public for what might be referred to as culture wars, things that are being taught at schools that some parts of the American public think that they shouldn't be taught at school? Do you think this is partly the reason why Donald Trump is so intent on dismantling the Department of Education? And I mean, we should also say that he's not the only conservative in charge in America that's been wanting to dismantle the department. For decades, it's been in the crosshairs of a lot of Republican politicians.
It's definitely a system of misinformation that has sort of won over right now. As you mentioned before, the Department of Education doesn't set the curriculum. Our states do. So our states are mandating. In Texas, we have TEKS. Those are the guides that we have for our curriculum. That is what we are supposed to teach. So our state already has the ability to tell our teachers and our educators what to teach and what to do in our schools. So taking the Department of Education isn't dealing with that, but that is the verbiage and the wording that is going out a lot to justify this. The Department of Education is this big entity that is there to support our students with disabilities, that is there to support the ability for parents to have another recourse if they are not getting a resolution for something they believe is discriminatory towards their student, their child, at the state level, at the district level or the state level. So there are many things that the Department of Education is there to do for the parent already that the state may not be doing. And so there is a lot of misinformation about what the Department of Education really does, and telling the story of this is going to help so that my child is only taught certain things is not the reality. The state has the responsibility to set the curriculum and does.
Now, Trump's executive order cites a number of reasons for dismantling the department, including $3 trillion spent, and I'm quoting from the executive order, without improving student achievement, plummeting test scores, excessive ideological initiatives, and a return of control to the states where it belongs. Now, you've dealt with the last part, but what do you say about the cost? $3 trillion, no significant improvement in student achievement and plummeting test scores. Is that true?
That is definitely not true. The federal government is not the only entity that goes into funding our school districts. And it does not fully fund our school districts to give them all the resources that our students need. The states also have a responsibility, and many states are not fully funding our public schools. We have different ways of funding our schools. Some do attendance funding, some do enrollment funding, but continuously, especially in Texas, we have been underfunded. And so the money that is being sent out by the federal government does not and cannot make up for what the state is not funding. So our schools are being starved of resources and funding and the ability to hire more people so that our students can get smaller class sizes, more programs. And so you cannot say that because we're getting money from the federal government, it should automatically show successes when we are not having the same happening in our state, and we are still underfunded, so that our students are still not getting the resources. And we need more educators in our profession, but we know that educators don't want to come into the profession because they know how much we have to fight to give our students what we do have.
Vidya, you're president of the Texas State Teachers Association. It's fair to say Texas is a red state. Donald Trump is quite popular in Texas, to put it mildly. How is this decision going to go down in a red state like Texas? How is it going to affect students, parents, the schooling system?
Well, with the dismantling of the Department of Education, and you were also correct in saying it cannot be done unless Congress approves and takes action. What we're seeing right now is that it is happening from inside, where positions are being cut, programs are being cut. And so funding for our schools in Texas, we're going to lose millions of dollars, depending on what program you're talking about. In the program that deals with our children with disabilities, we're going to lose $1.2 million. In our Title I funding, where we have a lot of students that are bilingual in Texas, we're going to lose approximately $1.8 billion. So these are resources that our children are going to lose. Not to mention Pell Grants and career and technology educational grants. When our parents start feeling that because their child no longer has that class or that resource or that grant going into their programs, we're going to hear it more. We are already hearing from Republicans and Democrats about our state not wanting vouchers and further privatizing our public education. So I know that we are going to have parents and community members, because we have them now, calling out and making sure that the Department of Education and public education in Texas and around the country is supported and defended and protected.
Vidya, thank you so much for giving us your time. Really enlightening and fascinating to talk to you about the specifics of this. Vidya Molina, president of the Texas State Teachers Association, speaking to me on that decision, that executive order by President Trump to disband the Department of Education.
करोगे तुम भी एक दिन हमसे मिलने की आरज़ू, लेकिन हमको पाओगे बस कभी ख्यालों में, कभी सवालों।